So let's talk about these quick tips that I have. And I've tried to keep it as practical and as fun as possible. And I've tried to include some very simple things so that everybody can relate, and some really cool tech tips type of a thing. So if you feel it's something that already, we can change course and go to the difficult tips. Or if you feel that no, that those are really hard to assimilate, we can go back to some easier, simpler tips and tricks that I have today planned for you. Okay, so let's get started, and I'll just try to keep it a mix of the tips and tricks that I have for all of you. But before that, let's just talk about some simple things that we should always keep at the back of our mind when we are selecting and editing stock graphics. So first and foremost, let's talk about the power of visuals in e-learning. For all of us, having a solid instructional design for our e-learning courses is super important. But the close next is the visual design. How we present our information and how we serve it to our learners is really important, and it makes a lot of difference in them judging how serious we are about creating that content, and how much heart and soul we have put into that content. So once that instructional design is taken care of, visuals is something that you should definitely take care of. And it doesn't have to be like high-end visuals or animated thing. It just has to have the basic elements of being cohesive with each other, talking to each other well, and following some of the basic fundamentals that we have for visual design. So let's go through some of that, and then we will take a look at some of the visuals I've planned for you, and then some of the tips and tricks. So the first thing is we need to enhance visual appeal and learner engagement, and that's really possible with the visual design. And it really helps us in illustrating concepts and supporting the content that we have. So if we have created or authored an amazing scenario, just putting it as a paragraph of text won't really make it as impactful as you including a complete scenario and visualizing it, and immersing the learner into that scenario. And that is the power of visuals that we can utilize. And then providing consistency in design and theme. And we'll look at some of the nuances that we can follow for providing consistency in the theme. Okay, so here are 4 things that I usually ask myself when I'm selecting the images. So does it support the learning objective? It should not be purely decorative. Sometimes, yes, some of the backgrounds, this and that, we can add some bells and whistles to our courses, but the main graphics and visuals that we have for our courses should support the learning objective, and it should actually complement what you are doing with your words in the e-learning courses. And then, does it resonate with your course content? Again, goes well with the objectives, and the course content is related to that. Another very important thing that we all should take care of is it diverse enough? Does it cover all the audience traits? Does it represent genders, ethnicities, professions? We need to make sure that we are doing that, and especially when we are talking about stock graphics, because stock graphics, usually we see that there is a set theme, and so a lot of times they just use models as people, and then diversity is something that you should definitely take care of. And when you're searching, ask for diversity. Just to put that as one of your constant keywords, that it has to be a diverse group. And when you're selecting, say, 50 images for your e-learning course, make sure at least 20 represent the wider audience that you have. So that's something you should take care of. And then the quality of it. Very important. When you have like pixelated images in your course, or watermarked images in your course, it shows poorly on the quality of your e-learning course. So these are the 4 things that I take care of when I'm creating my courses. And I would love to see that you also do so in your courses. So before we get into selecting the stock photos and editing them, the first thing that you should do before even going to say a Shutterstock or an Adobe Stock or an Envato Elements is to pick the theme based on the topic that you're going to cover. So this is something that you should definitely do before it. And there are 4 broad categories that I think are, but there can be many more. But these are some 4 broad categories that we can think of when we are picking the theme. The first one is a dark theme. Okay, it's bold, it's beautiful. Any content that you feel is futuristic, it's related to, say, infrastructure, or it's related to some technology, it goes well with the dark theme. So you can pick the theme based on if you have topics like that being covered in your courses. Okay. Light theme is something that we use all the time. It's usually better when you are teaching a sensitive topic, or you're covering a serious, a topic. You're talking about compliance and healthcare, and something that people need to pay attention to and imbibe that in their, in their behavior or workflows. Light theme comes in really handy. So for me, I use light theme in at least 70 to 80% of my courses. When in doubt, always use a light theme. Nothing can go wrong with the light theme. And especially when you are selecting graphics for a light theme, chances are that you will get better options than any other type of theme that you use. So I would say the majority of courses that we'll create are related to light theme, but don't shy away from using other types of themes for the other types of content that we have. So I'll just go back to my slide deck, and here's the next one, which is color pop. So color pop is when you are talking about something fun, something fabulous, you're talking about lifestyle, or you're talking about product design, or something which is brand new, and you want to highlight that. You can show the happiness with the pop of color. And if you would have noticed, I have used a color pop for my presentation, because I'm really happy to be here to talk about all these things with you. So color pop is really good when you want to share new information and help people understand it. Perfect. And then another one is gradient. Very interesting, very chic, I would say. You can use it for fashion, for lifestyle, for if you're creating content for, say, a cosmetic company, or for a fashion industry vertical, then it makes sense to use a lot of gradients. It adds a lot of flair to what you're doing, and makes it look subtle and interesting. So these are the 4 broad categories that I have. There are many more which you can use, but this covers most of the type of themes that we have. So before getting into picking the graphics for yourself, for your courses, go ahead and finalize on the theme. What will be the broad theme that you will be using? And then based on that, you will go to the stock photo website. And when you are selecting images from the stock photo websites, you will put those keywords along with the keywords that you need for that specific image. So if it's a light theme or a dark theme, I'll share some of the keywords that you can utilize to get those specific images which will be relevant for it. Okay. So these are some of the stock photo websites that I usually use. I use Adobe Stock. I use Envato Elements extensively. I have become a big fan of just going to Canva and finding everything there. So even if I need, say, an image, I just go to Canva, download it, and then use it in my e-learning course. So yeah, Pexels is a good one. Getty, Shutterstock, Canva, Pexels. Yes, Vanita. These are some really good options. Any other that you're using? Perfect. Canva is amazing. Freepik is good for vectors. Yes, absolutely. So let me just take you through some of these, and why did I pick these 6 portals? So first one is Adobe Stock, my absolute favorite. Not because I was working there, but even before Adobe Stock was Adobe Stock, it was known as Fotolia. And I remember I used to use it even before I started working at Adobe, and then Adobe took over Fotolia and converted it into Adobe Stock. It's a fantastic collection of images and videos and graphics, and I absolutely love it. So this is always my first choice. Gives you a ton of options that you can use for selecting images. I think it's a little more pricier than the other option. So that's something you should note. But otherwise, it's pretty good. Another absolute favorite is Envato Elements. I love this because it has everything from stock video to templates. Let me just bring up the thing. And what I use this the most for is the presentation templates. It's absolutely amazing. It has a very good collection of PPT templates. And the template that I'm using today also is from here. I just searched for ColourPop there because that's what I wanted. And it gave me the template. I made it my own. It doesn't look like this at all right now. But this is the theme, the template that I took, and then I created my own slides using those little small, details that are there on the sides of these slides. So it's pretty good. It has everything. It also has a lot of web templates. So I remember when I was first creating my website, I went to Envato Elements and I got one of the templates and used that for teaching myself how to create a WordPress site and creating my my website as my a winter project when I got a break. So I thought, let me just see how much of web design I can do. So I picked the easiest thing to do and created a website using one of the templates from here. So it's pretty good. So Adobe Stock, I'll come back to it, but let me just speak about the other options that I have here for you. One is Pexels. Pexels is great for royalty-free images if you want, and they have a lot of free options. So if you're creating something which is non-office work, I would say, or non-commercial thing, you can use this, especially for if you're conducting, say, a session or a webinar, or you're sharing it for training purposes. It's pretty good, and it has some really nice options. Apart from that, Unsplash is great. It has some really, really good and artistic graphics that I have used over time, and I really like it especially for free stuff. I go to Unsplash. Apart from that, I know this is about stock graphics today, and we're talking about only raster images and not vectors. But this is my absolute favorite one. Not many people know about this. This is something which one of my XD friends told me about. And the best part about humans with 3 times A is that all the characters you can assemble. And if you look at their clothing, it is gender agnostic. So you don't have to worry about diversity, about anything. And these are very simple graphics. They also come with a pack of backgrounds that you can utilize. So if you're doing vectors, go to this, and it's a free download. So you don't have to worry about paying and all that stuff or taking a subscription. I know we are all getting bogged down by hundreds of subscriptions that we pay for at the end of the month. And it's getting, bigger and bigger and bigger. And at the end of the month, you're like, oh my gosh, there are so many subscriptions. So this is free to use. So go ahead and use it if you like. And when you're talking about vectors, if you are, a big fan of icons and using them everywhere, the Noun project is pretty good, and it has some really good collection of icons. I know Icon Library in Canva, even in Storyline and Captivate, all the places the library is growing. But if you are looking for some specific icons, this is a place which is good too. Okay. Perfect. I will go to the next slide here and talk about some of the search options. How should you search for stock photos? There are so many options. You can go and find out your favorite pick. And then once you do that and you go to the website, let's take an example of Adobe Stock. And other websites also have the same way in which you can search. So the first thing you should look at is the category. So here on top of Adobe Stock, I'll just zoom it a bit. You can see there are categories. There's photos, there is illustrations, vectors, videos, audio. Pick the category that you're looking for. Instead of just going and searching, go for the category. So here today, we are going to search photos. So we'll go to that particular category. And now when you search, it will only show you photos. So you don't have to worry about first searching, then going to that category. It's always nice to pick your category first. And if you want to change your mind, you can just go and change it from here, at least in Adobe Stock, but in other places also you have a way to change it. Now here, you have to put your keywords. Very important to give the right keywords. So here you can see when I put keywords, there are always more than 3, 4, 5 keywords that you see here, right? I never go with just one. Why? When we have a choice of going through, having a lot of keywords, why not use them? It will give you specific image that you're looking for. Also, it saves you from getting the regular options that other people are getting. So your images that you put in your courses will be unique. If you just here go for, say, team meeting, what are the chances that you will get the most used image here? Very high, right? So instead of doing that, if we say along with team meeting, we say 4 people, okay? Team meeting, then 4. Then I say I want happy folks, celebrating. Then I want diversity. I want laptops. Okay. So if I can spell correctly. So here I have added, and you can see that now you have these specific images that you can use for your courses. And it gives you a selected few. If you feel that the options you're getting is less, just go and say, instead of remove the happy tag and see if you get more images, and then try to reduce it. Okay. So here, instead of team meeting, if I just say meeting for celebrating, so you get more options, and then you go and reduce the number of keywords that you're using. Okay. If you're not getting enough options. Apart from that, you can also go and use the filters. So in the filters, you will get a lot of options, whether you want photos, vectors, you want standard content, or you have a premium plan. So you can use the premium option. There's another very good option here, which is undiscovered content. So if you want to use something really unique and you don't want others to have that in their courses, you can use that option. And then other options, which are different in all the different tools that you'll be using, but it will give you a good collection of options that you can utilize. Okay. Apart from that, a lot of tools, I think, have this find similar option where it allows you to upload an image, and based on that image, it will give you the option. So if I just remove these keywords from here and I go and click this option, okay, I can go and select any of the files. Let me just pick one from here, anyone. So it will look for that image, and this image can be from anywhere. So if you go to Google and you find an image that you like. So here you can see I uploaded this image, and you get the same image as well. So if the same image is available in the portal, it will give you that also. And it will give you different poses of the similar theme that you have uploaded. Okay, you can change it to content. So the content should be the same, or the color should be the same. Content can be different, or the composition should be the same. So based on that, I think if we search for our images more thoughtfully and intelligently, it will be great for everybody. Nowadays, I know everybody is gaga about generative AI. And in stock photos also, generative AI has made its mark. So if you go to, say, Adobe Stock, there is generate option here. It is powered by Adobe Firefly. So if you don't find anything in the stock, just go describe, write your prompt, and it will generate a unique image for you, which will be specific for your use case. Now, again, it comes with a little disclaimer that the Gen AI for images is not yet so evolved. So you might get to see some really weird images sometimes, like people with, instead of 5 fingers, they're having like 8 fingers, or don't have fingers at all. Then lips are like somewhere else. And so you have to be very careful when you are using the generated images from here. But if you're using vectors or if you are asking it to give you an illustrated drawing. So for example, this one looks so beautiful, right? What I've explored with it is illustrations, and I do use the illustrations a lot, but I don't ask it to generate the team meeting. So if I just say team meeting with happy people celebrating with each other, okay, and chances are that will give a very distorted set of options to us. So here you have to pay special attention to the fingers. That's where you will know things are wrong. But this seems okay. And here let's see. If you look at it, the fingers are chopped off of this person, and only this person's fingers are there. The last time I generated, the lips were somewhere else, and she was laughing, but I don't know what happened to her lips. So first thing you should do is pay attention to the fingers. That's when it happens. So here you can see this person is laughing, but look at the size of his teeth. So all those nuances and things. Look at his fingers. His nails are all distorted. It generates a lot of distortions. So you have to be very careful when you're using such things. But if you change it to, say, vector look, okay? If you do a vector look, or you give a simple thing like a girl reading a book, it'll give a beautiful option, and you can definitely use it the way it is. So if it's simple, it will give you beautiful options here, which you can just go and use in your e-learning courses. And it will give you that specified, environment in which it can be used. So again, it's there. It's not evolved yet, so use it with caution, okay? And similarly, in others also, in Canva also, there is AI search. There is AI search in Envato Elements also. Slowly, everywhere, you will see AI search coming in, because everybody is making use of especially the DALL-E technology, which is there in ChatGPT. And I eat, breathe, live ChatGPT nowadays. It is amazing. I love it. And if anybody wants to, learn from what I have done with ChatGPT, here's my YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe. I just keep experimenting with a lot of prompts to storyboard and to write scenarios and other things. So if you're interested in it, please go ahead and follow. And let's move forward. We have to talk about the editing part as well. So let's get back to the search option. So these are the 4 things that you should always do. Plus, use generative AI with caution in this. Again, search keywords should use the broad topic, be descriptive, use multiple keywords, and try synonyms. So if you're not finding the terms that you're looking for, choose a synonym of it, or see if there is a near word that is there, because usually images have tags. If it is badly tagged, then you will not be able to find it. Okay, so try using different similar words or keywords that people can use to tag those images. And as I said, for light, dark, color pop, and gradient themes, these are the keywords that you can use, that you want the image to be light or neon dark or colorful or pink or pleasant. Use these keywords, and it will help you find images which are relevant for that particular theme. Okay, let's move forward, and we'll talk about the best practices for editing graphics. Okay, we've done with the searching part. Now let's talk about how to edit it. The first thing is you need to crop the images to perfection. When you download an image from a stock photo website, it's usually about 14 MB, 10 MB, 24 MB. That should not be the amount of pixels you need to pack in an e-learning course where the screen size is so small. It doesn't make sense. Those images are good for billboards. You don't have to put that in an e-learning course. It's pixel dense. It will make your course bloated. It will make your life miserable, I would say. Because the e-learning tool will take time to open, to process things and all that stuff. So always start with cropping an image to perfection. And let me just give you a quick example. I know this is a very basic thing, but I want to show you this because Uh, this is one thing, if you sort out before you even move to Storyline or Captivate or Camtasia or any other tool that you're using, if you crop things right, it will be good. So here you can see I have this panoramic shot that I got from Adobe Stock. And you see that there are people walking on the street. What I want to highlight is these three women, and my story, my scenario is weaved around them. So let's do that. I will just drag and drop this in Photoshop, and let's see how we can crop this image. Okay, and this technique I'm showing you is relevant only for like if you're just working on a single image and you're not worried about more images. So this is the technique you will use. If you have more images, I will show you the next technique. So here you can see in Photoshop, and don't worry, I have the same steps in Canva as well if you are not a Photoshop user. So I will just go to the crop tool and activate it. And you can see that it creates this nice little frame for me. Okay. And here there are different options that you can use. If you want to crop it in original ratio, you want it to be a panoramic shot, but you just want to tighten it a bit, you can do that and move the image around over here. Or if you don't want to do that, you want it to say be in a particular proportion like 16:9 or 2:3 or 5:7. You have all those options here. And if you don't find it, I usually like to use my own custom option, which is width into height into resolution. Here you can specify. So if my project size is 1280 by 720 pixels, I add that, and then I make sure I put a 72 ppi, nothing more than that. So usually for e-learning courses, 72 ppi is good enough. If you really want it to be displayed on larger screens and you're creating a 4K course, then you can go for 150 ppi. And for print, it's 300 ppi. So we don't need that many pixels to be packed in our courses. So 72 is good. Once you do that, you can tighten the shot, and that's all. So here you can see it also shows you the rule of thirds. You can enable this or change this to something else if you like. So here you can see we have different options. This is rule of thirds. If you like to use the golden ratio, you can do that. Or if you like to use, say, a triangle, you can do that and set your image accordingly based on what you're comfortable with. So rule of thirds is something that universally most of us follow. So I'll just stick to that. And then once you hit enter, your shot is cropped, and you can just export this as either a PNG or a JPEG file. And the rule I follow for exporting to a PNG or JPEG is, if there are a lot of gradients in the image and I want them to be maintained, I go with PNG. Okay. And if there are transparent pixels, PNG for sure. Otherwise, it will replace it with white color or black color. And if you want, had to have more control on the size of the image, go for JPEG. It will give you a lot of options to decide. So here, I don't see a lot of gradients happening, and it's okay if some of the color is lost here. So I can just go and say export as. And in the export as option, I can select the format as JPEG. And here you can see the quality automatically set to 6 because of my last option that I selected. And you can see this gives a 402 file. This was about 14 MB before processing it in Photoshop. If I reduce this to quality of 5, you can see that come down to 237. And you should experiment with it and see in a minimum number of quality, low quality, how much of output you are able to get. And based on that, you should, like the first few images, you should always see what type of quality you are getting. If it is good, just go with it. Otherwise, I think having a 200 or a 300, I'm saying calorie because I'm counting my calories these days, kVs is good enough. Okay, so here and then say export. It will help you export this particular image, name it, and then click save. And you will get a file which is smaller in size, and you can make use of it. Okay, so I just go to downloads. I'll show you how this looks like. It will give you the image in that perfect dimension that you need in your e-learning course. Now you go to your e-learning course, your project size is 1280 by 720. It fits perfectly on your course, and your e-learning tool doesn't have to do too much of work to make sure that this is working fine. Okay. Now, if you're not a Photoshop user, cropping is again important. Go to Canva or go to PowerPoint as well. You can go to PowerPoint, resize it to the dimension that you like, export it from there as a PNG or a JPEG file. And that will be of a smaller size, file size. So there also you can do it here. Just to save time, I've uploaded this file already. So let me just create a new file here because this is a custom size we are looking for. So I go to custom size. Again, like Photoshop, I'm putting 1280 by 720. And I'll create a new design here for us. And all I have to do on this page is just treat it as the canvas that we had in Photoshop. And then go to uploads. I've already uploaded the file using this option. And I'll drag it here and I'll make sure I'm touching the corner. When I touch the corner, Canva automatically crops it for me. I don't have to crop it. If I just do a Control Z, if I just put it in the center, it will just give me this. Okay. And then I have to go and crop it. But if you go and touch the corner and leave the mouse or your trackpad, it will automatically crop it for you. Then you can further crop it. And to further crop it, just double click. It will show you the complete image. And then I want a tighter shot around these three women. So I will just go and do that. And then when I click outside, I have my shot ready. And then I just have to click share. And again, I will get the same options under download. I can select PNG or JPEG. JPEG again gives me the quality here. So I can play around with these values and download. So that's the same type of output. But again, these steps are very important. I know it can be very boring, but it's important to do this before we start using these images in our e-learning tools. Because e-learning tools, so far, I would say, are not evolved in terms of doing great graphic design. They do graphic design. They help you do everything. But it's not so evolved. It doesn't have so much of power that you get with the proper graphic design tools that we have. Okay, let's move to the next one. And the next point is about resizing and optimizing. So here we were taking a look at a single image. What if we have more than one image? So here I have a set of images which I'm using for my scenario. Okay, so there's this person and she's ready for her presentation and she's excited, the proposal that she's going to give to the team. And so based on that, this is the introduction part where I want to bring in this picture. Then it goes to how she's explaining and how she's talking to her team about the options that are there. And then people are loving it. They're doing high five. And then everybody's cheering for her. And then they have this group photo. Okay. So these are the 5 pictures I have for the scenario that I have planned for this particular course. Now, to take each one and crop is a lot of work. I don't want to do so much work. So what we can do is we can go and create a new file of 1280 by 720 pixels, just the way we did in Canva. So instead of cropping one image into this particular dimension, we'll create a canvas of this size, and then we will import all 5 images here, and it will help us crop it directly. So crop it to the size of the frame. So we have this frame now. All we have to do is go here. I'll just shift select these 5 images and drag them to Photoshop. And you can see that it allows me to resize it one by one. So it brings in the first image. I can resize it, hit enter, and then it will give me the next image. So I can do that again for the next image and reposition it however I like. So you get the idea. So once this is done, I'll just quickly finish these 5 images. I have a really good option that I want to show you if you've not used it yet. It's called exporting layers to files. Anybody here use this option in Photoshop? Let me know in the chat. It's a time saver and a lifesaver. So these are the 5 options, and then I can name these files. I'll just leave them as is right now. What you have to do is save your file first. So I'll just say save to my computer, and I will put it directly here. I will just name this as new, and this is also new. And I've saved this file. Okay. Now what I need to do is go to the file option, go to export, and instead of using the first 2 options, which is export, quick export as PNG and export as, use this option, which is layers to files. It's a wonderful option. And whether you have 5 layers or 200 layers, it will give you individual files for each and every layer that you have. Okay, so we have this, and then you can decide what format you want and go with PNG. And here you can decide whether you want transparency, you want trim layers. Trim and transparency is great for when you have transparent pixels around it, and trim is good if the object at that particular layer is a small icon that you want to have as as that particular dimension that you have used. You can use the trim layer. Here we don't need, because we want it to be 1280 by 720. Okay, transparency also, it's okay if you want to leave it checked. Just run it. It will give you 5 different images that you can directly use in your course. So here, this is the folder we created, and you can see that it starts adding these nice files which are of that exact same dimension that we need. Okay, so all the extra pixels are gone, and we have this neat and clean file that we have. You can do the same with Canva. Again, like we created this image here, you can, instead of putting it on the same file, same slide, you will have to put it on individual slides. So here I have this image. I saw that the head got a little cut off, so I can just double click and bring it down so that it's here. Then I can go to the next slide and then add the next image. Again, make sure you touch the sides so that most of the work is done, and you just have to do a little nudge to make sure the important elements are in the thing. And then go to share and go to download. And when you have more than 1 pages, it will give you an option whether you want to download 1 or more, and you can go and select or deselect any of these checkboxes. Okay, let's move forward. So as I said, once you have all this, you can just share, download, and all the pages will be as PNG files. And again, the size will be optimized. It will not be high resolution files. Canva takes good care of the exported images that you have. Okay. Let's move forward, and we have about 11 more minutes, and I have a lot to share with you. So next is frame your images well. It's very important. It looks aesthetic. Everything should be at its designated place, unless you decide to break the rules, and for good reasons. Okay. So let's take a look at some of the examples I have for you here. One of the things is that if you have, say, 2 images, make sure you have a designated space for it. It looks aesthetic. It should not be that you've just haphazardly put things together. The color scheme should be similar of the images. The font should be consistent with each other. It should be in cohesion with the title and all that stuff. So all these little things, when you take care of, you look at this slide, it's pretty simple. There's nothing spectacular about it, but it looks unique. It looks nice. It looks that somebody has, patiently worked with it and made sure everything looks nice. Okay. Let's move forward. And again, like those 2, there are 3 images here. So everything in its own section. Here's about the breaking of rules. So I have a frame, but I don't want to put the image over there. So I've just tilted it to the right. It gives a little bit of an aesthetic touch to it. So following rules is good, but sometimes breaking it is so much more fun, right? So break it for a reason. Don't always follow the rules. When you're breaking it, you should have a reason for breaking it, and you should be really proud of breaking that rule for yourself. Okay. Again, this is another way of breaking the rule. You can see that there are two sections of the slide, two colors, and then this image is taking more space than the text that is on the right. Okay, so just artistically, if you can do something like that, then frame for adding content to the screen. So if you have a screenshot, how you would do that, it's important. And for this frame tool in Photoshop, in I would say InDesign, if somebody is an InDesign user here, and in Canva is amazing. You can do that, and Canva has a really good feature here. Let me go back to this particular slide, and Canva has something known as mockups. So if you don't see it on this left bar, go to the apps and you'll find mockups over there. These mockups are amazing, especially when we want to put content on, say, a laptop. So if I go and click this laptop here, and then if I go to, say, my uploads, I have a screenshot here. So if I just drag and drop the screenshot on top of this, it will make sure it sits well in the laptop. I don't have to worry about, placing the content well and doing it. And even if it is, frame like this, which is distorted and warped and all. So if I just go and put the screenshot here, again, it will make sure everything sits well. Even this section is covered well. Even for mobile, you can see that I've just taken a screenshot of the website. And when I place it here, it amazingly works here. Apart from mockups that are already available here, so there are options like t-shirts and cups and all that stuff. I don't know how much of that will be useful for all of us, but take a look at it. It's really nice. And what I see myself using more is the computers. So see if you would like to use some of this. It's an easy fix. You don't have to do a lot of stuff to make this happen. So this is possible in Photoshop as well, but I will skip those steps because I had to combine a lot of Canva stuff as well. So I'll just skip that. And but if anybody is interested, I might just end up doing some YouTube videos on it and share. So keep a watch on the channel. I'll definitely put up something. Okay, let's move forward now, and let's talk about overlaying the content. It's very important that your text should be visible. Your background images and the graphics, everything is good. But if your text is not visible, it's not a good thing. Images that are available there, image sets that you can use. Then eLearning Brothers has a good set. There are other vendors as well whom you can utilize. And even if you don't want to take any subscription, if you go to PowerPoint, let me just bring this up. If you go to Insert and then go to Stock Images, okay, it's a very hidden thing, but you will find those stock photos here. So that I click the drop down. But in Windows, if you're using a Windows machine, you'll find it up front on the top. There'll be a panel. And after images icons, you'll find all this. So go to cutout people. You'll find all the people that you find in Captivate and Storyline and eLearning Brothers. Select the image, and there are image sets over here. So you can select the person name, and it will show you all the images that are there. I think Windows, it's more streamlined than Mac, but this is the place to go. This specifically, I had downloaded from Adobe Stock. So what I usually do, I'll just share a trick that I use for finding the same images. So here, if I say team meeting, I can do that. And then here, if I have a specific person that I want to, tell a story about, I can just say, I go here, and then we have an option called Find More from this model. So when you do that, it gives you images only of that model. I would say I was searching for her, but I got options for this person. But so little, I would say, digging you'll have to do to find the right set of images. But I feel most of the websites have this option, but you'll have to check. Let's move forward. I will cancel this and I will get back to my my PPT mode. So use overlays. This is really important to show the text correctly. And here are a few examples that I have for you. So here you can see that it's a busy image. There's a lot of stuff here also, but I've added a thin layer of gradient and then I've multiplied it so that it makes the text stand out. So it's the gradient is not on the entire image. It's only in this section. So what I've done is I've used the light and dark color and placed it here and then multiplied it. So the white color is standing out, but the image is also crisp. So it's just diagonally placed and it makes the image look good. Here I've just used one of the colors from the image, created a bold, a patch of shape that is there, which holds the text and brings it, gives it the importance that it requires. And then here it's a little blurry. You can see a little bit of background and all that stuff, and you can use things like that. And again, a jet black shape that holds the text. So if you put the text directly, because there's a lot of light and dark color happening in the background, it might not be good. So based on, I would say, the requirement, you should see how you can treat the text and make it visible. But visibility of the text and legibility of it is very important, because there is a reason you're placing that text over there. Okay. If you feel that it's too busy slide and you're having a lot of scenarios and all, consider having a voiceover rather than paste, having text on the screen. Again, something fun. So here a lot of play with the gradient, and wherever there is text, there's a little darker shade of green, and then the orange is on the bottom so that the text is visible. Okay, let's talk about how we can blur sensitive information. And nowadays there are a lot of options that are available to blur sensitive information. In Canva, I found a very nice way of doing it. So let me just take you through that. I will just go and select this screenshot. I've just added this here, and you can see that my name and my email ID is clearly visible, which I don't want to expose to the people who will be taking this training. So I go to edit photo, okay? And then there is an effect called blur, okay? There are two options in this. Either you can blur the whole image. Okay, if I go to whole image and I can just, tinker with the intensity, you can see that the entire image starts becoming blurry. Okay, this is good if you want to blur out the image, the background image, and place content on top of it. But if you want to just do it for a little patch, just go to brush. You can see if the brush size is good. I need a little bigger brush. So I can just move this here. And you can see that now it's covering a little bit. I'm just picking the perfect size here, because the more number of strokes you do, the darker the blur becomes, which I don't want. So here, again, intensity you can play around with. I don't want it to be completely gone. I want it to denote that there is some image and name and email ID there, not entirely. But now I can just go and blur this, and you can see everything is blurred out. Okay. Similar thing in Photoshop is there's a fancy option that I use in Photoshop. So let me just show that to you. We'll just go and bring up this file in which I have already added the screenshot. So I will just open that. And now we have this. So here what I will do is I will just make a marquee rectangle, and I'll select this and make a copy of this and paste it as a new layer. So if you hide this, you can see that this is the only information. And I'm doing this because I don't want to touch the original layer. That is intact if something goes wrong over here. After that, I will go to filter and then go to blur. Okay. Or here we can use Gaussian blur, which will give a simple blur. Or you can go to pixelate, and in pixelate, use one of these. Mosaic is good. It gives a very pixel kind of a thing. So here you can see it gives a very artistic blur, which I really like. So you can do that, and you can see that it's all blurred out and looks as if somebody has tastefully hidden the information that was supposed to be. Okay. So again, if you go to Snagit, there are really good options. In Camtasia also, there are very good options to blur out things. In You Captivate, there is a blur option. There is a blur object that you can add on top of the images. That's also fantastic. So use it, because this is a very important thing that we need to do, especially when we are creating a training, and it's difficult to hide in the actual product, and you need to do it as a patchwork. Okay, let's move forward. And matching colors is very important. And one of the things that you can use in Canva or any other tool is usage of filters. Okay, so here you can see there are 3 images, and all 3 of them have a different color tone and warmth and all that stuff. So what you can do is select the image, click Edit Photo, and apply one of the filters. So here I will just go and choose a cool filter. Okay, one of the cool filters. So here you can see it's this filter I've applied. I'll apply the same filter to the 3rd image, and you can see there's a stark difference now from before and from after, right? Now they look as if they are a part of the same family. And it's a simple thing that you can do. Just apply a filter. In Photoshop, again, there is an extended set of steps that you can do, but it has more control. You can have gradients and all that stuff that you can do with the matching of the colors. Combining images. Okay, this is the last thing I'll show you. It's very important for combining images, because sometimes we get the right background, but the person might not be not be available, and that the background for the person is not correct. I have this example here. So I have this background which looks good, and I want this person to be here. Okay, but the problem is this person has this background gradient going on. So what we can do in Canva, in Photoshop also, it's very easy to do with generative background remover. So here, just select Edit Photo, use the Magic Studio option, which is BG Remover. It will do a little bit of thinking, and it will remove the background. So you can see that now it seems as if he's a part of this particular place. And you can see that this image is too loud and he's getting lost in it. So what we can do is we can select this image, go to Edit Photo, and blur it a bit. So here I will just click Edit Photo, use the blur option again, which we used for blurring the confidential information. This time we'll do the whole image. We'll increase the intensity, and you can see that it's now looking pretty blurry, maybe a little more. And now when we go back to the photo, you can see that there is a depth of field, and the entire focus goes on the person, rather than looking at which computer are they using and what is the style of lighting and the windows and is it industrial or not. So all those thoughts go away. We are concentrating on him and his big smile, right? So again, this can be easily done with Photoshop also, but I will skip that step and maybe cover it sometime later. Export options are pretty good. We talked about exporting as PNG, as JPEG. Exporting layers to files is good. There's a very nice option in Photoshop named as exporting to layer comps, which allows you to have combination of slides, especially when you're using adjustment layers. It's easier to export those. There is something known as exporting assets or generating assets also in this, which is pretty cool. With that, thank you so much. It was fun talking to all of you. Let's stay connected. Here's my LinkedIn. You can search for Dr. Pooja Jaisingh. I'm pretty active on Insta. I'm active on YouTube. So let's stay connected. It's so nice to be here, and I loved talking to all of you. Thank you again for inviting me here.